The 10 most horrific career-ending injuries in football. If you ever watched the football movie Goal, you'd remember Santiago Munez's words, "We're just a tackle away from flipping burger." While it was just a movie based on purely fictional characters, the statement made by the chief protagonist is a sad reality of the game. Over the years, many talented players have seen their dreams crushed by horrific injuries. So today, we've compiled a list of 10 players whose careers were ended by horrific injuries. So go grab a beer, and let's get into it. Number 10. Adrian Doherty. We're going to start off the list with a really tragic story with an even sadder ending. I'm sure you will remember the Manchester United class of 1992 that boasted future superstars such as David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs and the Neville brothers, among others. However, there was one talent most of us don't know about who stood head and shoulders above them. Adrian Doherty, a first-year student at the United Academy from Belfast, was meant for big things and was even considered the pick of the bunch. A generational talent, Doherty had everything: pace, precision, shooting, and ability to use both feet. At the age of 16, Sir Alex wanted him to experience first-team football. And this is where things went south. Just a few days before he was meant to make his senior team debut, Doherty's knee gave out. His cruciate ligaments were totally damaged. After 7 months, the teenager made a comeback, but the knee buckled once again. This time, he was on the shelf for more than a year. When he returned, he was no longer the same player. During the early 90s, cruciate ligament injuries were considered far more serious than they are today. Doherty left football and started working in a chocolate factory. He was on the books of Derry City for a bit, but gave up football for good. In 2000, he moved to Amsterdam and started working for a furniture company. During the first week of his new job, the former Manchester United Academy graduate slipped into the canal and was in a coma for almost a month. He would later die on June 9th, a day before his 27th birthday. Doherty was a star in the making, who was lost to injury and lost his life in the most tragic way possible. Number 9. Julian Nagelsmann. Currently the manager of Bayern Munich, where he has just won them another league title, Julian Nagelsmann was actually quite a promising player. However, his career was plagued by injuries after he turned 18. This forced him to retire in his early 20s. But that turned out to be just the start of something brilliant. Nagelsmann finished his coaching badges and eventually got a chance to manage Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga. A spell at RB Leipzig outlined his credentials as one of the best young coaches on the planet, and the astute tactician hasn't looked back since. Number 8. David Boost. During the 90s, David Boost was considered among the most promising defenders in the Premier League. He was brilliant for Coventry City, and a big move was just around the corner. Sadly though, things went horribly wrong during a league encounter against Manchester United at Old Trafford. The defender collided with 2 United players, and the collision broke his leg in such a horrible way that there was blood all over the pitch. There's still footage of Peter Schmeichel vomiting at the sight of the gruesome scene. The poor defender required 26 operations to save his leg, and it was no surprise to see him retire from the game. Number 7. Owen Hargreaves. Owen Hargreaves is the story of a career that could have achieved a lot more, even though the midfielder has already won a lot. Regardless, we can say that the former England international could have fulfilled his potential had it not been for injuries. The stylish midfielder represented Bayern Munich with great distinction, winning several domestic honours. A move to Manchester United saw more success to come his way. However, things went downhill after he won the Champions League under Sir Alex. He constantly suffered from several injuries. Surgery and physiotherapy did not help, and after years of struggle, the Englishman decided to retire. Number 6. Ryan Mason. A Tottenham Academy graduate, Ryan Mason was a bright prospect. He was quite a good midfielder and joined Hull City in order to get more playing time. However, in a League Cup game against Chelsea, he was involved in a clash of heads with Gary Cahill. The injury wasn't as horrific as you'd expect. The youngster had a fractured skull, and while he did make a successful recovery, his career ended. Mason was also an interim manager of Spurs for a few days before the appointment of Antonio Conte, with the latter promoting him to the role of first-team coach. Number 5. Stilian Petrov. The Bulgarian is considered as a true Aston Villa legend. His absolute devotion towards the club was one of his most endearing traits. Sadly, he was diagnosed with leukemia in 2013 at the age of 34. The midfielder was forced to retire from the game due to the disease after making 200 appearances for the Villains. Number 4. Alf Inge Haaland. Father of new Manchester City signing Erling Haaland, Alf was quite a feisty character on the pitch. He was one of those players who would wear their hearts on their sleeves and never back down from a challenge. Unfortunately, his mean streak was his undoing. But here's the full background of the incident that led to his injury. During a game against Manchester City, United captain Roy Keane went for a tackle and in doing so broke his leg. The Ireland international was clearly in pain and Alf Haaland verbally abused the United man while he was lying down. Roy Keane was never a forgiving character and worked hard to return to full fitness and waited for his moments. The moment arrived when United faced City. Waiting for the perfect opportunity, Keane went for a two-footed lunge, which not only took out the Norwegian international, but also ended his career then and there. Number 3. Dean Ashton. During his time at West Ham United, Dean Ashton had become one of the best strikers in the Premier League. He was lethal in front of goal and was also very good when it came to creating chances. Following such consistent showings, he earned his first national team call-up. Unfortunately, things went downhill from there. The striker suffered a horrible ankle injury. His ankle never truly recovered despite many surgeries, and at the age of 26, Ashton decided to walk away from the game at a time when his career was heading in the right direction. Number 2. Marco van Basten. Widely considered one of the best players to have come from the Netherlands, Marco van Basten's promising career ended way too early due to recurring injuries. The stylish forward scored more than 200 times for club and country. He could have scored more goals had injuries not forced him to retire at the age of 28. A troublesome ankle injury was the reason why Van Basten spent the most part of the last 3 years of his playing career on the treatment table. However, that did not stop the former Ajax and AC Milan player from winning the Ballon d'Or award 3 times among numerous titles and individual honours. Number 1. Fabrice Muamba. Quite recently, we saw Sergio Aguero forced to retire from the game due to cardiac issues. The Argentine was still at the peak of his powers when he retired. During the 2020 European Championship, Christian Eriksen suffered a heart attack on the pitch and was fighting for his life. The Dane has since returned to top-flight football in England, but many players haven't been this lucky. Fabrice Muamba was the engine that made Bolton fire on all cylinders. His energetic displays and commitment to the cause made him a fan favourite. During an FA Cup quarter-final game against his former club Tottenham, Fabrice Muamba suffered a cardiac arrest. He received lengthy treatment on the pitch, and it was later revealed that the midfielder's heart had stopped working for 78 minutes. Thankfully, the midfielder was revived and made visible progress during what was a lengthy period of recovery. A few months later, Muamba announced his decision to retire from the game after being advised to do so by a leading cardiologist in Belgium. Since then, the Zaire-born former midfielder has returned to football as an academy coach at Bolton. So guys, these were a few of the players whose careers ended due to horrific injuries and medical conditions. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to our channel if you like the content. Till next time.